gentlemen, welcome to Bruh Hear Me Out. Anyways, hopefully you like that. I'm changing some things up. But anyways, I'm your host, Josh, aka JC for short, aka Prophet J. That's my bassist name from my band, The Minor Prophets. More about them later. AKA Fingers, because my fingers be throwing down on that bass. AKA Hot Combs, because anything I play on that bass is so hot that even the combs melt themselves. That was crazy. Anyways, we're just gonna kick right into it, man. I got a lot of stuff to talk about, between my job and the corporate greed and, just some things, even a little bit of anime things, right? But, without further ado, like I said, and I'm gonna get the applause ready on this one, ready to bruh hear me out, aka BHMO for short. I would call it a different thing, but, I don't want to get copyright. Anyways, man. So yeah, like I said, this whole corporate greed thing from my job is just so insane. So for those of you that don't know, I work for how do I put it? I work for a nondescript company where, we deliver furniture, appliances, we get people electronics for a price that they pay weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, semi-monthly, etc., etc. I'm pretty sure you could put two and two together, but I'm not going to say their name for legal repercussions. Anyways, I work for that company, and yeah, the corporate greed within that company is horrible. I've been working for this company for almost a decade now, and it just recently I learned some things that kind of put a sour taste in my mouth, if you will, right? So I guess just to kick right into it, within this company, customers will pay, and sometimes customers will pay extra, right? And I just recently found out that it's frowned upon to put the extra money that they paid onto their accounts into like the little savings account that we have for their accounts. I wonder how many times I'm going to say account in this in this episode, but yeah, like there's a little savings account for their account that they can use, if they pay extra money, and so it's not taxed immediately. It just sits there in like their savings account. So if they're short on a payment, we can use that. Well, I just found out that it's frowned upon for them to have extra money to cover at least a week's payment into their little savings account. I know, it's shocking. The corporate greed is terrible. So I figured I'd talk about that because ever since I've started, at my store, my previous store, my old store, because I'm still with the company and I ended up transferring to a new store. At my old store, it was always different. No matter how much no matter how much a customer decided to pay, we would always take that extra, put it into their savings account so they can pay off the product sooner. Well, I just found out that was the wrong way of doing things, and corporate really frowns upon that, which I find is completely stupid, right? Because why wouldn't you want to help these people pay stuff off sooner? Right? It makes no sense. It makes no sense at all. And honestly, I'm kind of baffled, right? I'm baffled because the company I work for I've learned over the years that I really don't like this company a lot. It's terrible. Excuse me. I had to sneeze. That's how much my body is rejecting this. Like, I had to sneeze on that. Gonna sneeze. Good. Whew. One more time. Anyways, like I was saying, it's terrible because, you know, when you're in that type of line of work, you want to always help people and make sure that, there's no hidden fees. And basically you want to take care of people, right? Like, put yourself in their shoes. If you was in that situation, what would you do? Wouldn't you help the people? That way they can pay off their product and own it a lot quicker instead of, oh, I don't know, being mixed Scrooges about things, right? Yeah, I thought so. Anyways, so yeah, that kind of peeved. That kind of like really struck a nerve with me because it's like from the amount of people that I help and the amount of accounts that we load people up with, or the amount of things that we load people up with, it's like, why wouldn't you want them to achieve ownership of that product sooner? We're already charging double, and a lot of the stuff is not set to pay off within the payoff time frame. So by the end of the day, they're paying triple, double, sometimes even quadruple of what the product's worth. And God forbid it's a computer, because computers always fall obsolete within 6 months, maybe even a year anyway, with the new computer technology, new, computer internals that come out anyway, right? Like me personally, I've gotten a total of 4 computers from the company that I work for, and I keep upgrading them because more computer internals come out, right? So that being said, why wouldn't you want to help these people out? But no, I found out that recently it's frowned upon when people have a lot of money put into their savings account for their account or for the products that they're renting. Because the company that I work for doesn't want people to pay things off sooner, right? So it's one of those things where you turn into kind of like well, do I go against company policy so then people can actually have a chance at ownership, or do I follow company policy and basically, tell these people to kick rocks and we'll take your money and be just downright dirty dogs about it, right? And me personally, I would hate to be in that situation. So no, I don't care. I don't care if I lose my job over it. I'm going to help people out because that's just my nature. That's my nature. I always help people out. So that's one of the things that kind of like actually struck a nerve with me, is that the company that I'm working for don't care about their customers, basically. Right? I mean, it's bad enough that, I have to put my whole body, my whole being at risk just trying to contact people that are past due in an environment where everybody nowadays has a weapon, whether it be a gun, a knife, or whatever. I have to sacrifice my safety to go knock on their door, not knowing what state of mind they're in. And God forbid they're in a terrible state of mind and decide, you know what, today's the day that I'm going to kill somebody, right? Because if I end up dying, yeah, granted, I have life insurance through my job and everything, but that only matters while I'm still with my job. If I'm gone, I'm gone. My family will probably be okay for the first couple of months. But after that, once that money runs out, then that's it, you know. And it's kind of scary to think about because, again, I will do anything. I will literally give the clothes off of my back for my family. I will do anything for my family, my immediate family, I should add. And it's crazy. It's insane that we don't take care of our customers better. It's always, oh, you got to drive numbers up. You got to get this. You got to have that. You got to have more sales. You got to bring in more profit and blah, blah, blah. Speaking of profit, might I add that the company that I work for is such a big umbrella corporation that they have other companies under their umbrella, but yet they still decide to pay us pennies on the dollar. I really wish I could name drop the company that I work for, but again, I am kind of worried about losing my job because at the end of the day, I need my job to get by and pay bills and whatnot, right? So, you know, that's that. But yeah, we have so many companies, and we got a new contract with a major company for taking their returns, and they expect us to basically kind of convert these people into sales when 9 times out of 10, these people are just there to return stuff and don't care about getting anything or renting anything, right? But hey, we got to convert them. We got to get that money. You know, this is a brand new hot contract and blah, 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 and all that extra stuff. The corporate greed is insane. It's like people would rather line their own pockets than to be fair with everyone else. And of course, you know, just like any other company that's in the same scope of the company that I work for, we literally profit off of low income people under the whole guise of, oh, well, you can make payments on it and you can get it right then and there, knowing full well that these people cannot afford it on their current living standards. And their current living standards, unfortunately, is kind of set up by the environment that they're in, right? If people had better opportunities or even just an even chance, right, then people would struggle less. Heck, pay me more. You're wanting us to do work, extra work that is outside of the original scope of work that we were hired for. Pay us more. Give us more money. Why are you literally giving us the minimum wage? It's baffling. It's mind baffling to us. But, you know, I'm just a voice of many that have had the same idea, the same argument, and it always falls on deaf ears, right? So, you know, there's that. But I guess on an upside, you know, my band is kind of in the steps where it's starting to take off, and I cannot be more grateful for that, right? Because my band, we do our own, you know, we do our own style. It's neo soul mixed with Christian, mixed with hip hop, and a little bit of jazz elements mixed in there, right? And basically our tagline is truth, faith, and groove, right? We're speaking truth through our music. We're showing our faith through our music. And obviously the groove also ties in through our music. So, you know, there's that. So there's at least that. And hopefully we can build that up and conquer that a lot better to where hopefully I don't have to work at this same job much longer, because I can't take it. Mentally, I cannot take it. You know, the amount of people that I want to help versus, you know, the amount of people that I can't help due to, oh, I don't know, me wanting to keep my job is disgusting. Right? And that's another thing. because it's not just my job's fault. It's also the customer, a lot of it falls on the customer too, because it's like, if obviously, if you don't have the means to do it, then don't do it. You have the power to say no. We're not out here holding guns to your head, forcing you to get the stuff or, get the product. I mean, we're not forcing you. You have the power to say no. Emphasize that power. Have some common sense when it comes to it. Like actually dig into your finances and say no. If you ain't got it, say no. Maybe save up so then that way you can afford it. Don't just come in and try and leech off of whatever sale we're having and then steal it, so then we charge you off 90 days after, and now you're being garnished for, a couch that you didn't pay for. It makes no sense. Or, have us calling you and knocking on your door for 90 days straight, trying to collect. Company I work for, the whole like, I guess, business model, which it worked in the past. Pre-COVID, it worked well. After COVID, it was terrible. It still is terrible. People are in a more lazy mindset, if you will, right? People are in a super lazy mindset and don't care about nothing but themselves. How can they make a quick come up off of something? And then when you mix in this new contract for returns and things of that nature, now you have reviewers and things of that nature basically buying stuff, reviewing products, and returning it. And for most locations, it becomes a burden because not only can they not do their normal day-to-day operations because they have to focus on this stupid return business model and try and flip sales out of it, they're also under a microscope because they're not hitting expected numbers. It's dumb. Maybe that should have been worked a lot better. Or better yet, maybe they should have picked better pilot stores or realistic pilot stores to see, okay, well, maybe, this store is having a high fluctuation of things versus this store. Maybe we should adjust that in the system somewhere. And let's talk about the system, because the system is not reliable when it comes to the company that I work for, right? There's constantly things breaking. The system now is better, but when they first rolled this new system update out, oh my goodness, the amount of failures that was within this system was terrible. You could not get your job done at all. It was always failing. It was always crashing. And in most cases, we lost internet connection, which is a big thing that we need to operate this system, right? It was a big thing to operate this system. Nowadays, the system rarely crashes unless like something major happens or, we lose our phone lines, which cool, And now they're closing stores down that aren't hitting certain goals, which is dumb because you set honestly from the get-go, these stores have kind of been set up for failure because they keep driving these expectations up higher. You expect people to outperform what they normally do for the same amount of money and half the time even less. And that's what's wrong with this economy. That's what's wrong with, this global economy. That's what's wrong with working in the USA. Capitalism is kind of better than socialism, but at the same time, it kills people. People lose their drive. That's why the companies that I work for, has such a high turnover rate because they don't pay enough. They don't pay a respectable amount for people to live. So now people have to go and find another job. And by another job, I mean, people have to go and work in a factory and slave away for hours just to make ends meet. It's stupid, especially when you have a multi-million or multi-billion company conglomerate that has enough money to pay its employees a respectable wage. It has enough money to pay its employees a respectable wage, but they don't want to do that because they want to line their bigwigs' pockets up and just say, well, screw you guys. You guys do all the hard work, but we need you to do better. You want to squeeze everything out of the lower tier employees. If you're not working in corporate, you don't matter. Just like, and I will say this, I am Black. I'm an African American, right? And years ago, my company sent out an email, for Juneteenth. They were like, we recognize this holiday for yada, yada, yada because of what Juneteenth stands for. Do you think we got that when our current president was in office? No. But yet we have emails that come out recognizing, every other demographic, whether you're part of the alphabet group, whether you have a disability or whatever. But Juneteenth and being Black, it's so frowned upon and everything. And it's like, why? A lot of us Black folk make up a lot of the work industry just as much as our other counterparts, right? I mean, would a little bit of recognition hurt? Have some common sense. Like, come on now. And that's another thing. Why are we still living in a climate where we have a leader that wants to sow, discord among our fellow peers? Whatever happened to, like, when I was in school, right, we were taught the we were taught the Pledge of Allegiance, right? And there was one line in there that doesn't ring true today, right? One nation under God, indivisible. Right? We all make up one nation, no matter what nationality, no matter what the color of our skin is. But yet people have gotten so jaded and so divided because of whatever reason that we forgot that, right? And it's on both sides, not just to call out one side, or it's on all sides, not to just call out one side. And it's like, come on now, have some common sense, have some common decency to have respect for your neighbor, right? I mean, even to put it in biblical terms, right? How can you judge somebody when you don't judge yourself? I'm paraphrasing a little bit here, but like, sink in on that. How can you judge somebody and act like you're better than the next person when you don't judge yourself? You don't know what that person's going through. You don't know what's going on in that person's head. You don't know what decisions that person had to make to get to where they're at, what sacrifices they had to go through. And we have people that want to act like they're so better than other people. I don't get it. It's baffling for me to understand, how somebody can really just be like that. And it's like, it's a drag, right? It's so much of a drag to have to try and argue your case against somebody, or having to prove yourself to somebody when you know that you know the amount of work that you put in, you know your worth, and you know your qualifications for something. It's stupid. Just like the whole corporate greed thing, it's stupid. Help people out. Stop being so selfish. Nothing, you gain nothing from being selfish and worrying about yourself. It won't kill you to be helpful or watch out for your neighbor. Or better yet, it won't kill you to be your brother's keeper. Your brother / sister. Let me put an asterisk there. Right? So I don't understand that. But on a side note, like I was saying with my band, you know, given recent events and everything, things have been looking on the up and up, and I feel like my band is kind of making a step in the right direction. Again, you know, we are the Minor Prophets on some platforms, and then other platforms, it's just Minor Prophets. All of our music, anything that we put out, anything that we write, it's all original, but anything that we write has a deeper meaning behind it, right? There's a message in every song. And our goal, you know, Truth, Faith, Groove, is so much deeper than that. You know, me personally, I hope that somebody will listen to our music and actually connect and resonate with what we're doing. And it seems to be working. I mean, we have, you know, something in the works to where we're going to be hired for events, you know, other local events and things of that nature. And it's kind of only up and up from there. God willing, you know, God willing, it's only up and up from there. And that's more so attributed to our faith, right? Our background, where we came from. And I cannot be more grateful for that. And the only thing that I ask, you know, for anybody that listens to this podcast or anything like that, give us a follow, you know, check us out, whatever. You know, if it's not your cup of tea, then it's not your cup of tea. But if it is, or, you know, if you really do rock with us, give us a follow. Again, our socials are the Minor Prophets on Facebook and also on Instagram. Our logo literally is MP, and underneath that it says Truth, Faith, Groove. And then lastly, because I was just watching this show, which, a little background about myself, right? I watch anime. I said it. I watch anime. I watch a lot of anime. And one thing I will say, excuse me, one thing I will say is that a lot of these animes have become, you know, kind of predictable in my mind, right? It's like after the first episode or first 2 episodes, you can already get a feel of what the plot's going to be. And it's always that generic cookie cutter plot. It's like, whatever happened to the anime that kind of gave you a twist. Like, I forgot the name of the one, but it gave you like a twist. It was something that you didn't really expect. It always kept you on your toes. Where's that suspenseful anime at? That's enough about that. And honestly, that's it. I just had a quick little rant that I needed to go on about the company that I worked for and, you know, things of that nature. If you have anything to add to it, please, by all means, you know, put it in the comments, or send us an email at theminorprofitsofficial@gmail.com, and I will gladly respond to it in the next episode. Thank you for listening. This is Josh, aka Hot Combs, aka Prophet J, signing out. Until the next episode.